What is going on, everybody? Good to see ya. It is 1:11 here in Northeast Florida, and I'm going to be hanging out with you guys for probably about an hour. I just put my daughter down for a nap about 30 minutes ago or so. So she could nap for an hour more, or maybe 30 minutes more, or maybe 2 hours more. You never know. But I'm going to be hanging out with you guys for a little bit. Hope you all are having a good day. I was going to say something. There was something I was going to say when I was fumbling around on my computer trying to get this stream started. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. But anyway, guys. Caleb Kemp and Vince Wynn and Ian Fox and Falcon Fox. 2 Foxes right in a row. Thank you guys so much for sending over some channel support and channel love before the stream even technically began. I greatly appreciate that, guys. Who is first? Caleb, hello there. Right back to you, man. Hope you're looking forward to the next episode. I'm sure we're all kind of buzzing with Clone Wars anticipation. It's fun. I'm actually more excited for this arc than I was like leading into any new Mandalorian episodes, you know. Just because so many loose ends are going to be tied up, so many interesting I don't know. I can't wait to see what happens. But yeah, man. Anyway, Caleb, General Kenobi, welcome, man. Good to see you as always. Hope you're doing well. Let's play some Empire at War soon, right? Oh, that's what I was going to say. I saw somebody mention Empire at War in the chat before the stream started. Asking if I was going to ever stream it. Yes, I'm planning on streaming it sometime soon. Don't know when. Probably at some point like early next week. But we shall see. One sec.
This pandemic and social distancing is watching my kids not being able to live their lives. Frustration and depression is setting in for them at such a young age. Sad.
Took, thank you so much. I completely agree. Give me one sec, Took. That's an interesting topic of conversation for sure. Give me one sec. Ian Fox. Let me see who is first, actually. Oh, Vince Wynn. Thank you so much as well. Do you play/create music of any kind? You seem to like electronic music, so you should become a Star Wars version of Daft Punk. I don't know the first thing about creating electronic music, man. I've never looked into it. Like back in the day, there were some programs like Fruity Loops, I think it was called, that I messed around with, but I didn't do anything with it really. So no electronic stuff, but I used to play the guitar a lot. I started playing the guitar when I was like 13. Then in high school, me and my buddies, my best buds, who you guys have heard me talk about before, formed a little band, and we've recorded a couple songs like with professional quality audio, and you guys have never heard them. They're kind of like the guy who recorded us said we sounded like what's the band? Not Coheed and Cambria, but One Arm Scissor. Who sings One Arm Scissor? That's gonna it starts with an A, I think. I gotta look this up. One Arm Scissor. At the drive-in, One Arm Scissor. That's what he said we sounded like. But so yeah, I dabble in the guitar every once in a while. It's been a very, very long time since I've actually taken it serious or played, sitting down to actually maybe write something. I used to write a ton of stuff that nobody ever saw. But it's kind of funny that you bring up making music and stuff. Monday morning, there's I have four guitars, and they're all in like what is our technically guest bedroom right now. It's just basically chaos storage of things that we don't know what to do with. I pulled one of those acoustic guitars out, and I started playing, and my daughter was really into it, and I was like, oh, why haven't I done this before? So I started playing some songs and stuff like that to her, and then she has this bunny Easter basket that if you flip it over and play on the drum, it sounds like a drum. So she started banging on the bunny Easter basket like it was a bongo, and it was cool, man. So it kind of put me in the mood to actually play a little bit. I have new strings that I ordered years ago that are sitting in a box in my office, and I would love to dabble once again. It's been a very long time since I've taken that stuff serious, but hey man, it'd be fun. and I've never looked into electronic music. Don't know the first thing about creating it, but I like the idea for sure. I did have an idea years ago, and I might pursue it now that I'm kind of in that mood of writing like a little EP, like a, I don't know, like a 4-song EP or something like that, or an entire album, like a folk album from the perspective of a war-weary stormtrooper. And I actually have some songs written, and I think it would be kind of fun to make, but yeah. Anyway, Vince, I appreciate that, man. And Ian Fox, good to see you as always. Ian says, hello, Greedo. Battlefront 3, Battlefront 4. Oh, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Out of those three, what do I like the best? I'm assuming Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, not Battlefront 1, right? Or Star Wars Battlefront 2. I have a hard time differentiating the Battlefronts and which ones I played and which ones were the ones that I played them all, but I can't remember which is which. So just if I had to choose like Battlefield or Battlefront to play, I usually would go with a Battlefield game. It's kind of more my style, I guess. These massive open maps that have, you know, you can pop in and out of vehicles, and it just kind of, it's a little more sandboxy than a Star Wars Battlefront game is. Now, like a modern Star Wars Battlefront game, you know. So I'm usually gravitated towards those kind of shooters, you know. It's why I would rather play a game like Postscriptum than a game like Call of Duty, you know. Call of Duty multiplayer is something that I've been into. I was into it when the first game came out, the first Call of Duty. Since then, I don't think I've really touched a Call of Duty multiplayer more than a couple times. If I'm playing a Call of Duty game, it's just for the campaign, you know. But yeah, man, I usually gravitate towards Battlefield games more. That being said, it's been a long time since me and my buddies have played them together. I think ever since the influx of smaller developers and indie developers putting new and interesting stuff on Steam, we've kind of gravitated towards that, the more experimental, the more interesting ideas. I remember when like DayZ came out, we were so pumped about it. We were playing it like crazy. I remember when like Rust came out, we were playing it like crazy. Then PUBG came out, we were playing it like crazy. And then there's all these like side-scrolling games and top-down games that we've played, like Hammer Watch, I think it's called. You know, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, we used to play Battlefield a lot. Maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. Whichever Battlefield games were out then. But since then, not too much. But yeah, man, I appreciate that. And Falcon Fox, are the sequels your second favorite Star Wars trilogy? It's I would say so. Yeah, on my grand list of like rankings, take it as you will, Force Awakens and The Last Jedi are above any of the prequel films. And The Rise of Skywalker is below The Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith for me. So if you look at it purely from a numbers game, I would say yes. And yeah, I think they are. I like The Force Awakens and I like The Last Jedi quite a bit. When it comes to the prequels, the only one that I actually, you know, I would say that I really like is The Phantom Menace, and I think that is purely from like a nostalgia. Oh, I saw it when I was 13, super pumped for the return of Star Wars, you know what I mean? But yeah, I would say the sequel trilogy is my second favorite Star Wars trilogy. Didn't like how it ended. Yeah, as you guys know, I'm not a fan of The Rise of Skywalker, which is fine, you know, shit happens. It's not the first time I haven't been a fan of Star Wars, right? We move on. But yeah, Falcon, I appreciate that, man. And Took17, good to see you as always, man. Hope you're doing well. Took said, the most depressing thing about this pandemic and social distancing is watching my kids not being able to live their lives. Frustration and depression is setting in for them at such a young age. Sad. No, what was I going to say? I really do feel bad for the kids in all of this. You know, we adults, we're all right, you know, whatever. But the kids, you know, they're used to socializing with their friends, and sure, you get all this digital communication, but it's not the same. It's not. The places that they used to go to, they're not able to, you know, and it's kind of, I don't know how a kid can rationalize what's going on in the world right now. You know, I can see how it would be pretty scary for them. Hell, it's scary for a lot of adults, you know. And yeah, it sucks. Like, in all of this, I'm kind of glad that my daughter is so young to where obviously she doesn't get it. But when she has to go to, you know, this park or that park that we used to go to all the time, or go to the zoo, which we used to go to the zoo, you know, we're season pass holders to the zoo, yearly pass holders, and she has to go to the zoo quite a bit. And we haven't been in, you know, since all this stuff popped, we haven't been in like 2 months. Yeah, it's a huge bummer when she asks about it. And, you know, I say, well, everything's kind of closed right now. And I say, like, why is everything closed? And she'll say, people getting sick. And I was like, yeah, people are getting sick. And, you know, that's her extent of knowing what's going on, right? Parroting what I tell her. But yeah, I guess in a way, it's kind of, if you have kids, it's almost better to have them super young during something like this, because as much as it sucks, they can't really comprehend it and they can't be freaked out. And it's not like my 2-year-old was going to school or anything like that. And there's, you know, your kids play hockey and, you know, missing out on a lot of fun stuff that they used to do. And the world is just taking a complete 180, right? But yeah, man. Hopefully when all of this is over and the floodgates open up, you know, everybody will go back and it'll be like a huge reopening of the world, and there'll be celebrations in the street, and the bars will be packed and the parks will be packed, and maybe for a bit it'll be awesome, and then maybe there'll be a resurgence. I hope not. but yeah, man, it definitely sucks for the kids, that's for sure. But I appreciate that too. And yeah, what do? You just play a lot of games? Play some cards? What would I do if I had like kids your age, your kids' age? See, kind of lucky here because we live in a pretty out there suburb of a suburb, rural area, and there's some giant trees and creeks that we can take her to, and she likes that stuff, you know. So let's see. And Gooner, good to see you, man. Thank you so much. What's the worst lightsaber fight in the saga? Ooh. The worst lightsaber fight in the saga. Oh, man. What is this? What just popped up? Oh, cool. Thanks, eBay. Why is eBay sending me notifications about 70% off of Puma shoes? I've never even bought... I'm not stupid. I haven't bought shoes in like 8 years. I'm stingy, man. Gunnar asks, what's the worst lightsaber fight in the saga? Maybe worst is the wrong word to use, just because obviously it's all completely subjective, and what is one of my least favorite lightsaber fights is without a doubt somebody's favorite, right? But for me, a lot of the prequel fights didn't feel weighted. They didn't feel grounded. You look at something like, you know, at the end of Return of the Jedi, it is just a hack and slash fest. It feels real. It feels gritty. But then you get to a lot of the prequel fights and it feels... I mean, dude, I have like a thing where I like to pause during prequel moments and zoom in on people's faces, and it's hilarious. I don't know why. It's just something that I've always liked to do, and I should turn it into a video at some point. But yeah, like prequel fights a lot of the times turn into like cartoons and over the top and whatnot. So one of my least favorite fights is when Yoda pulls out his lightsaber. The Mustafar fight, it's so over the top that I just kind of go meh about it. I appreciate the emotion there, but it is just so over the top. So maybe my least favorite lightsaber fight would be like Yoda and the Emperor, just because it is... See, what I love about lightsaber fights is the conversation, you know. Most of the time, most of my favorite lightsaber fights are conversation, or they feel weighted, they feel grounded. Even like The Force Awakens, the lightsaber fight at the end of that felt pretty, you know, pretty realistic. Even at the end of The Phantom Menace, that lightsaber fight compared to a lot of the other prequel lightsaber fights felt grounded too, despite it being like pretty much like a dance, right? So yeah, I would say maybe my least favorite is Yoda in Palpatine. You know, throwing a bunch of stuff, flipping all around. It looks goofy to me. It looks goofy to me. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Zio returned. Zio has returned. Zio says, Zio has returned. It was my 2-month anniversary with my girlfriend. How have you been, Greedo? Well, congratulations. Early stages, man. Early stages. That's exciting. Exciting stages, right? For sure. That's fun, man. Oh, young love. Gotta love it. Or young in terms of I guess length of time together. But that's awesome, man. That's congratulations. And how have you been, Greedo? Been good. We've been good. We just normal day to day, trying to figure out what to do on the weekends that doesn't involve going to the zoo or all the places that we used to take our daughter, right? We've been utilizing the backyard baby pool quite a bit. We got her a new one for her birthday. When I opened it up, I realized that I did not have the pump required to blow it up. I have an air compressor, but the big inflatable pool that we got her, that she got for her birthday, has like an enormous opening, like a air mattress opening, and I don't have a pump for that, so I had to order one, and now it's coming this weekend, and like, yeah, it's like, she was super excited to get into her new pool, and she has to wait a week. I felt so bad, but no, things have been good, man. All stocked up. Watching shows, playing games, hanging out, being patient, and waiting for all this to pass. You know, try not to pay attention to social media because
Mine was thumbs down, but the fight in the water wreckage was a cool mirror of the Mustafar one. Anakin the hero died in the lava birthing Vader. Kylo the villain was killed in the water birthing Ben the hero.
Benjamin B, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support this afternoon, man. I greatly appreciate that. Give me one sec. But yeah, Zio, things have been good. Just, like I said, trying to avoid social media because, dude, like, I went down a little, not a rabbit hole, but I was scrolling through some trending stuff last night and looking at things this morning, even on my personal Facebook page. And it's like, I mean, obviously people have vastly different brains, but I'm so curious what makes people believe bullshit in this vast modern world of information at your fingertips. We are really witnessing how susceptible people are to absolute bullshit. It's crazy to me. I mean, people, yes, propaganda is a thing, of course, but dude, you watch a couple YouTube videos on a subject, some conspiracy theory or something like that, and that has like no validity to it, and you take the person making it as like an expert when they don't know shit about shit. I don't know, man. It's like, it's so disheartening. Where people choose to, or what people choose to believe. It's weird, man. Some people are so susceptible to nonsense. And it kind of saddens me. Like, it's such a waste of brain power and effort. There's so much interesting stuff out there to learn. No, 5G internet is not fucking causing the coronavirus, you idiot. Like, how do these things take off? How do these things become like popularized? It's so weird, man. And there's so many cases of that kind of stuff. It's so weird. It is so weird. My initial reaction to anything like that on the internet is like a spark of, that's bullshit. That's probably bullshit. And then that I almost feel like that's the starting place that you have to start at when you're navigating the internet. Like, that sounds like bullshit. Even if it might be real, you kind of have to start at that point. Like, that's probably bullshit, just to have like an uber skepticism about it, because there's so much nonsense floating out there, right? It's weird, man. I don't know. The internet was promised as a new information was going to be democratized. We could learn about everything at our fingertips. And some people choose to believe that. Yeah, whatever. I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. Ian Fox, thank you so much. When are we going to play any of these? Oh, so Battlefront 2, we can play probably soon. I don't have any of the Battlefield games installed, which, I mean, I could, but I would rather play some Battlefront 2 on here. Battlefront 2 is just a nice, like, streaming game. I can pay attention to the chat and hang out, you know. Yeah, let's, we could set up a battle. Do I have you? I have you on Origin, right? I think so. If not, let's hook that up. But yeah, maybe, today's Wednesday. Maybe Friday. I have a lot going on Friday. Non-channel related. But maybe Friday evening, Friday afternoon, we can play some Battlefield 2. Or Battlefront 2, rather. But, yeah. I think the next game that I'm going to stream is going to be Empire at War. I played that with some of my, my Discord mods, and I had a lot of fun with that. So, we'll do that. We'll do some, BF2 soon. I've never tried to make... What's up, Jonathan? I've never tried to make Coca-Cola barbecue ribs before, but that is something that my wife has brought up. We've never tried to use Coke as, like, a marinade, or whatever you want to call it. But I have heard that is a thing, and my wife, like I said, has brought it up on multiple occasions. We need to. But, yeah. What's up, Admiral Akbar? I joined today. I am now a member. Nice. Welcome to the fleet, man. Thank you so much for becoming the latest member of the fleet. I greatly appreciate that. Welcome to the fleet. If everybody could do me a favor and say welcome to the fleet, Admiral Akbar, I would greatly appreciate that. Took says, my oldest... What? Let me take a quick sip of the old water here. Took says, my oldest was set to graduate 8th grade. We prepared him the best we could for the full school cancellation. He was good with it until it was official. Now he's having a hard time. Yeah, man, I can't... My youngest is autistic and very structured and scheduled. This has thrown his world into chaos. My middle kid lets everything slide. Interesting. A whole range of dynamics there. That's really interesting. What and I can't imagine as parents having to try to figure out, like, tailor information or tailor the process of going through this to each individual kid, because, you know, that's crazy. But yeah, hopefully when this all subsides, things will be I don't know, things will, maybe they can get back into their groove, and this will be a story that they tell in the future, you know. Oh, one sec.
I like you. I'm a fan of TLJ and was also a bit disappointed in Rise. I was curious. If you were given the chance to write episode 9, how would you approach it in more specific?
Oh, it would suck so bad, Danny. It would suck so bad, Danny. Live with Danny Boy. Dude, thank you so much for the ridiculous super chat and channel support. Extremely generous this afternoon. I greatly appreciate that, man. Is that you playing a saxophone? It's really, really tiny on my screen. But dude, thank you so much for the insanely generous channel support this afternoon, man. I greatly appreciate that. Give me one sec. I have Matt Coles, Benjamin B, Vladislav. Did I correctly pronounce that? Probably not, because I'm a big idiot. Vince Wynn, and then Mr. Danny Boy down there. So I appreciate that, guys. I'm long-winded. Give me one second, and I will get to you guys. Matt Cole says, hi, Greedo, what kind of music do you like? I can list some bands that I listen to, right? There's bands like Bright Eyes, or a guy named Josh Ritter. One of my all-time favorite bands is named Limbeck. Limbeck has the best road trip album of all time, in my opinion. It's called Hi, Everything's Great. Then there's, you know, bands like My Morning Jacket, or RX Bandits, or modern, there's a band that one of my favorite albums of the past decade is called Cardinal, by a band named Pine Grove. I love that album. If you guys want something new to listen to, what I've been listening to for a long time now, it's one of my favorite albums in a long time, like I said. Pine Grove. The band is Pine Grove. The album is Cardinal. It's fantastic. So yeah, that kind of stuff. Back in the day, I used to listen to like a lot of Iron and Wine, Owen, American Football, and then obviously I like things like I like a lot of 90s alternative too, or things like New Radicals. You know, you get what you give, or even Alanis Morissette, or that kind of stuff from the 90s that I grew up listening to. But yeah, most of the time, like nowadays, I'm listening to that Pine Grove album. It's fantastic. I recommend it to everybody. So yeah, I'm not good with genres, so I don't even know what to call the genre that I listen to. But yeah, that's a good starting position. Ryan Adams, you know, his album Cold Roses is one of my all-time favorites. Used to listen to like a lot of Death Cab for Cutie. And lately, I would say over the past, actually since I got sent, I don't know, past 5 years or so, I've been listening to a lot of ambient music just while I'm working around the house and doing stuff. It's just kind of working music, as I call it. But yeah, if you want a good example of stuff that I listen to, I will link. Hi, everything's great. I will link some tunes to you. Here is Limbeck. Hi, that's a Limbeck song. I don't even know which one Pine Grove live. Let's see. There's a really fun Size of the Moon. Let me find a live video because I really like the live video of this.
Let's check out what's on.
Okay, and here's Pine Grove, Size of the Moon. Check those songs out. But I appreciate that, Matt. And Benjamin B, thank you so much for the generous super chat this afternoon. Benjamin B says, 9 was thumbs down, but the fight in the water wreckage was a cool mirror of the Mustafar 1. Anakin, the hero, died in the lava birthing Vader. Kylo, the villain, was killed in the water, birthing Ben, the hero. No, that parallel was not lost on me for sure. Some of my favorite things in episode 9, or really the only thing that I really liked, was the relationship between Rey and Kylo. I love the moment between kind of reliving that scene between Han and his son. I thought that was fantastic, that moment right there. And then the connection that Rey and Ben shared. I thought all that was done really well. Pretty much everything else of the movie fell flat for me. It all kind of started putting a bad taste in my mouth with Palpatine being back. From the jump, as soon as we found out that he was going to be back, I was immediately like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to like this. I'm probably not going to like this. And I was holding judgment, you know. I was reserving judgment until I saw it. And then I saw it, and it was kind of everything that I was worried about, you know. Like, dude, I spent a solid part of like a year, maybe, well, since Star Wars Celebration, when it was announced, going, yeah, I can't imagine Palpatine's going to be shooting lightning out of his fingertips. And what does he do? He shoots lightning out of his fingertips. I was like, oh no. But yeah, Ben, 9 didn't really do anything for me. It just kind of felt like a generic blockbuster. Nothing really too interesting to me. Big shrug of the shoulders. But as I've said, it's all right. You know, I've made like 2 videos about that movie. I could run it into the ground, but it's not me. You know. But anyway, Ben, I appreciate that, man. And Vladislav, thank you so much, man. Thanks for the most sane Star Wars channel. Stay safe. I appreciate the sentiment. I don't know if I'm the most sane Star Wars channel, but I appreciate you saying that. I have fun. I have fun with that. I have fun on this channel, and that's what it's all about, you know. But I will stay safe, man. Washing the hands, going to the grocery store to stock up for weeks until I have to go back. Doing everything you can, right? Pretty much I'm only worried about like my daughter. You know, she just turned 2, and if it's like me and my wife are healthy, don't have any underlying conditions. You know, I run 4 miles every day. I'm okay. I'm okay. I just don't want my daughter to get it, you know, because that is territory where there are so many unknown factors, and I just I just worry about it. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, Vladislav. And Vince Wynn, I'm starting to think this video is a loop because it hasn't rained once outside. You know, but yeah. Has it? It's usually not raining when I stream, now that I think about it. I'm trying to think. Should I change up the background to make it rain occasionally? That'd actually be pretty fun. That'd be difficult to do, though. I don't know how I would do that. I guess I could have put like a green screen over that back window and then put like different weather effects in the background to change it up from time to time. But I'm not. That's too much work. I'm not going to do that. I would rather create another loop. But yeah, man. For anybody who it was not up with the illusion. Yeah, that's a loop. That's a loop. You're not actually looking at me live right now. And if you pay attention at a certain point, the video will loop back on itself, and all the cars that you see in the background will drive backwards. Pay attention. Let me know when you spot it. Let me know when you see the backwards truck. There's the truck. The truck just went by, but it was going forwards. Eventually, there it is. It just went backwards. That's the moment. When the truck passes, that's the moment when you start seeing the video loop back on itself. So now everything is going backwards. Oh, I love it. Stupid. But I appreciate that, Vince. Let me take a quick sip of the old water. There we go. Cool. Live with Danny Boy, thank you so much for the ridiculously generous super chat and channel support this afternoon, man. Live with Danny Boy says, "Hey Greedo, love the channel. I, like you, am a fan of TLJ and was also a bit disappointed in Rise. I was curious, if you were given the chance to write episode 9, how would you approach it? And more specifically, how would you handle the ending?" So, for me, man, I'll entertain this for sure. I'll preface it by saying I've never been one to think that I would have a better idea. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not one of those people to make videos like how it should have ended or how it would have been good or that kind of stuff. That's just not. It's not. I would rather just watch the thing. Hey, I like it. I dislike it. I'll talk about it. But and obviously there's certain things that I would have done differently or would have liked to see and would have maybe appealed to me more. But yeah, for the most part, I usually just kind of, accept it or just dislike it or like it. You know, it is what it is. This is not the first time that I've been disappointed with a Star Wars movie, right? So, but that being said, if I was to approach episode 9, the first thing that I would do, the idea of Palpatine coming back would not even have been a thought in my brain. It wouldn't have even been floating around in my head in the universe for me to capture. It wouldn't have even existed. I would not have even thought of it for a single second. And if somebody came in suggesting that idea, I would have poo-pooed it immediately. Because as I've said, it just feels like the most just kind of unimaginative shrug of the shoulders you could have had in the final episode of this saga, to me at least. But so yeah, that would be the first thing. I would make Kylo the main villain, kind of the ultimate lost soul. And I understand that people say things like, you know, he's Han and Leia's son. That would suck. Yeah, but this, you know, this is a story. He can be a villain. It's okay. You know, it does suck. Sometimes things suck. But I think it would have been way more interesting to have, you know, Kylo be the main villain and Rey continuously trying to bring him back, and even Leia trying to bring him back and whatnot. But that's just me. How would I handle the ending? I don't even know. I really don't know. Extinguishing Kylo Ren as a villain who could just not be turned. And as much as I did like the relationship between Rey and Kylo, I thought that portion was handled well. I enjoyed that. And I appreciated the way it was done. I still kind of desired to see, no Palpatine, Kylo's the villain, and maybe he is redeemed, but yeah, but that's just me. I don't know. And yeah, as you probably have heard me say, Danny, like, Rise of Skywalker made me appreciate The Last Jedi even more than I already did. I liked all the creative decisions that TLJ did. I like that kind of stuff. When things feel just on a plate, easy peasy, repetitive, and predictable to me, that's not the kind of Star Wars that I want, right? TLJ was one of the best Star Wars movie-going experiences I've ever had. Sitting in the theater, seeing the twists and turns, it was full of surprises, and that's what I want in my Star Wars, right? The Rise of Skywalker to me was just so incredibly predictable that it just lost me. I don't know. Not too much interesting there for me to really latch onto or care about. But yeah, Danny, I appreciate that once again, man. That's too generous of you, and I hope you're having a decent time through all this shit, and hopefully it'll be back to normal soon. I do like, I put the only reason I'm bringing this up is because my Twitter account is on my other monitor, and a guy named Turix just sent me a picture of my book. So the only reason I'm bringing this up is because of that. But I put my book out early December, and then The Rise of Skywalker came out. And as soon as I saw the movie, I kind of regretted putting the book out before I saw that movie, because I would have loved to have actually talked about The Rise of Skywalker in that book, because I think I had something to say, and I wish I would have kind of solidified it in the book form. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that once again, Danny. Stay safe out there. Hope you're having a good one, man. Greedo, what are 3 Star Wars games that you would recommend? Try you. 3 Star Wars games that I would recommend. So there's a lot of Star Wars games that I've never really played before, right? Most of my Star Wars gaming comes from the past. I would, and a lot of these games you've probably played before, right? So Shadows of the Empire, if you guys have never played it, it's super cheap on Steam, I think. Get a control, play it, it's fun. There's a game called Star Wars Galaxies that is my all-time favorite Star Wars game, and there's no official servers anymore, but there is a player-ran server called Star Wars Galaxy EMU. I think it's called SWG EMU. Just Google SWG EMU, and you can check it out. You can play on the player-run server. It's an MMO. It's my favorite Star Wars game of all time. I love it. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. And another Star Wars game that I would recommend, from the past, man. If you want a blast from the past of where I thought the future of gaming was back in the day, Rebel Assault 2. I think it's on Steam too, or maybe GOG. Good old games. But Rebel Assault 2 is like what I thought the future of gaming would be, because it utilizes a lot of like video. There's actual video of stormtroopers that are blasting at you, and it's almost like an arcade game. So yeah, those 3 games, a little blast from the past, right? But yeah, man, Luminaria. When have you heard me say Luminaria? Like a year and a half ago, when I was making those videos about those Clone Wars episodes? Am I really saying Luminaria wrong? Do you agree with John Camp? I don't know if I've ever... Actually, I don't think I've ever watched one of his videos, man. I don't watch much YouTube of what Balance of the Force means. I do. I don't know, Eric, what... I've never heard him talk about that, so... Yeah, man, I don't watch much YouTube. A lot of the times people bring up YouTubers and stuff like that on here, and I might have heard of their names, and I might be aware of their Twitter presence, but I don't watch much YouTube. I'm the worst YouTube watching YouTuber in the history of YouTube. But yeah. You really do notice that truck going backwards now. There you go, Dale. You'll never miss it again. But yeah. Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the channel support once again, man. Vince says, might have already recommended this. If so, I'd like to reiterate. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood 2000. Oh, yeah. I still haven't seen it. Is that available anywhere? Google Play. Let me check my Google Play credits. Let's see. Google Play. Where do I go? Rewards. It's kind of funny. Like, I don't know if you guys have the Google Rewards thing. I have a Pixel. A Pixel 2. And there's an app on there. Maybe they have this for an iPhone or anything too. But Google Opinion Rewards will send you surveys to fill out from time to time. And you do these surveys and it'll give you like 30 cents. And over time, you know, over a few months, it'll add up. And I'll rent like a movie or something like that using them. The Google Opinion Rewards would always send me a survey when I got home from like the grocery store or something. But since I'm not going anywhere, I haven't had any Google Opinion Rewards in a long time. So yeah, I only have I have $5. So I don't know if that's enough yet, but we'll see. But yeah, man, I definitely want to watch it. I actually haven't listened to or read any reviews or heard any opinions on the movie, but I would love to check it out. I mean, who doesn't love Hanks, right? Who doesn't love Hanks? Growing up, like, it's kind of funny. A lot of my friends and people of my generation have fond memories of watching Mr. Rogers. I really don't. I don't remember watching Mr. Rogers. I mean, I'm sure maybe I did, but I honestly don't have any. I honestly don't have any memories of ever sitting down to watch Mr. Rogers. Like I said, maybe I did when I was like 5. But yeah, man, I don't know. So anyway, I appreciate that, man. And it will be there. And when I get enough Google Rewards points, I'll throw them that way. I only need like 30 cents. Maybe I think my wife has like $20 in Google Rewards points. So maybe we'll do that. But yeah. Luminara? Oh. What was I saying? Luminaria? Oh. Luminaria? Jesus, everybody's telling me Luminara. Okay. I was thinking of probably the Christmas bags that you put around your house during Christmas time, right? Cole Slaw, good to see you as always, man. Did you take that picture of, what was that, a bobcat? Or a mountain lion? What was that? When I saw that, I was like, that's pretty awesome. Cole Slaw, thank you so much, man. Do you still shoot on the 60D or have you switched to mirrorless? Thinking about getting the Sony A7. No, I do still shoot on the 60D. I've used the 60D since like 2013, I think. I haven't switched to mirrorless. I'm not opposed to it. Obviously, that seems like where the technology is heading. My dad's briefly talked to me about kind of what he sees the future of cameras and whatnot being. He's a big photographer. I need to share his pictures sometime. They're incredible. But yeah, I don't really know. I'm not the best hardware guy. I don't really know much about the hardware, so I still shoot on the 60D. I'm in no rush to get anything new. Until this thing breaks, I'm just gonna use it. It's like a car to me. Like once I have a car, I'm gonna drive that thing until it is dead. That's what I did with my Ford Explorer. That's what I did with my Chevy Colorado. That's what I'm gonna do with my Subaru. When I sold my Explorer to a guy in the Navy. When I got in the Navy, this was like 2008. So I got in 2007, but in 2008 I got to my command, and I bought a Chevy Colorado. and I wanted to just get rid of my Explorer. I sold my Explorer for like $250 to a guy at my command. Just wanted to get rid of it. And as he was driving it away, it was just billowing with smoke down the road. Yeah, I'm just glad he took it off my hands. My Chevy Colorado was the same way. I drove it for about 10 years, and I didn't take enough care of it, and it just, put like 150 miles on it or some 1,000 miles on it or something like that, and it just turned to shit. But yeah, so I'm gonna do the same thing with my 60D, man. Until it dies. Well, I appreciate that, Cole. Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I'm not one to like carry it around everywhere we go or excessively take pictures. But if we're going on a trip, yeah, I try to get some fun shots. But yeah. Let me take a quick sip. Will Meach, thank you so much for the channel support this afternoon as well, man. Will says, hi, what's your favorite non-original trilogy story? My favorite non-original trilogy story would probably be just God, it's really tough because how do you break down the Clone Wars? If you're looking at an entire piece of like Star Wars, I don't know, Star Wars media, I would say my favorite story is probably the Clone Wars, in all of its, seasons and episodes. Now you could break that down because there's a lot of things that a lot of arcs and episodes that are just kind of meh to me, but overall, like. Yeah, in this last episode certainly solidified that. I'm more excited for this final arc than I have been for a Star Wars thing in a long time. So yeah, I would say aside from the OT, my favorite like Star Wars story would be the Clone Wars, and it's kind of neat because I came into it late, as you probably know, right? I started watching it in it was like late 2017. And it took 2 years of me just kind of watching some episodes from time to time, making some videos to eventually get through it all. And I was able to catch up right in time for season 7. And it was a fun way to experience it because obviously most people that were like watching my reviews had already seen the entire series. So I was experiencing it after everybody else had already seen it, and they were experiencing it almost kind of in a new way because I was watching it for the first time, So yeah, man, that's probably my answer. I really liked the direction of episodes 7 and 8. And that's probably a close second too, but yeah, man. I appreciate that, Will. Yeah, I was at Galaxy's Edge in California, James, in June of 2019, around then. Went out for EA Play. It was fun. I'm not in any rush to get back, until my daughter's old enough to go to Disney, which we're actually planning on taking her to Disney World because we live 2 hours away from Orlando. And we were actually planning on taking a trip down to Disney World for her birthday, which was last week. And obviously we can't. So, for months we were like, we're going to go to Disney World on your birthday. And, she'll bring it up from time to time and we'll try to explain it to her, but she's only 2, it's hard to explain. And she's not bummed out or anything because she doesn't really get it. She doesn't really know. But she'll get it when we go for sure. But yeah. Let me take a quick sip of the old water. Yeah, I went with Alex, Molly, Elliot, Eckart's Ladder, Cinematic Captures, a bunch of those guys. Bombastic, kind we all hung out together. It was cool. Cool crew, for sure. Tuke17, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support and this information. Fun fact, Navy boot campers are being housed for 14 days in an indoor water park / really? And can't use any of the hotel amenities. Oh, no. I got to look this up. Navy boot camp. News. Let's go to news. That is such a... The Navy is locking down staff at boot camp for up to 90 days. Oh, my God. Navy delays new arrivals at boot camp for a week after recruit tests positive for COVID-19. Yeah, I mean, I that sucks. That sucks so bad. I'm assuming, maybe they have access to... Hopefully they have access to TVs and their phones. Well, they probably don't have their phones because as soon as you get to boot camp, your first day, you put everything in a bag and they ship it to your relatives. So you don't have any of those things. That really sucks, though, man. That really sucks. But they got to do something, right? I mean, you think about it. That is... It's almost like in terms of, like, the potential for spreading, like a prison. Everybody is housed. There's like 80 people in a berthing. And, you're constantly interacting with all sorts of other divisions. And your division commanders and stuff like that are constantly talking to their higher ups. And it's just like perfect petri dish for that shit to spread, I can DM you the story I did this morning. Oh yeah, absolutely. Please, I would love to check that out. Absolutely. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, I'm really curious. I listen to, whenever I go for runs, I listen to some podcasts. One of them is Jocko Willing's podcast, and he had a guy on recently who was talking about boot camp, and it was just kind of fun to relive that. It made me want to flip through some of my old albums, but that sucks, man. That really sucks. Hopefully they're not drilling. Obviously they're not doing their normal routine, but hopefully it doesn't delay people from graduating. I'm sure it will. You still have to go through the program, right? But that's a huge bummer. Yeah, but please, please DM that to me. Or, I mean, man, if you want to just tweet it to me, I would love to retweet it because I'm sure there'll be people that are interested, about that whole situation. But I appreciate the information, man. I'm gonna look into this. And Iron Warrior, thank you so much for the channel support as well this afternoon. What are some of your favorite non-Star Wars science fiction stories or settings? For example, alongside Star Wars, I'm a big fan of Metroid. My second favorite franchise would be and story would be the Next Generation, Star Trek The Next Generation. Other than that, I like things like Firefly, The Expanse. I've never seen Battlestar Galactica. People recommend that to me all the time. But yeah, my second favorite would probably be Star Trek, and more specifically The Next Generation. It's interesting because like Star Trek or Star Wars is almost like outside of the normal type of like science fiction. Oh, it's science fantasy. Okay, cool your shit. If you went to Blockbuster and you looked in the science fantasy section, the shelf is empty. It's in the science fiction section at your local Blockbuster in 1995. So yeah, Star Wars is kind of an outlier in terms of what I like about most science fiction stuff. Because when it comes to sci-fi, usually I prefer a more realistic and grounded and hard science fiction, as it's put, So Star Wars is kind of an outlier in the world of things that I like, But yeah, so I've never seen Farscape, Davis. There's so much that I've never seen. I think I tried to watch Picard, couldn't get into it. I'm a huge Next Generation fan. That probably didn't help because it's so different. And I appreciate different, but it just wasn't for me. So yeah, definitely Star Trek. I love the optimistic future of it. I love the problem solving of it. I love the way that it's like a mirror to the modern world, and it's able to kind of talk about culture and things of today in a futuristic setting, you know. But yeah. If anybody wants to give Star Trek a shot, I always recommend The Next Generation to people. It's not for everybody, especially, you know, probably not most Star Wars fans. The show can often feel a little soap opera-y from time to time, but every episode is pretty fascinating. And especially once you get to the further into the show, like most shows, right? You know, most shows have a pretty rocky first season. Maybe not nowadays, because, you know, Netflix and all these shows, they're producing from the very jump just incredible shows right out of the gate. But back in the day with like sitcoms or network TV, you know, the first season might have been decent, but then it just gets better and better and better. And if it overstays its welcome, then it gets worse and worse and worse, right? But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Iron Warrior. No, I've never played Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Emily. I never owned a GameCube. I don't know what else it was on. But yeah, there's a whole lot of Star Wars games that I've never played before. But yeah. Tom Cork. No, I haven't seen 1917 yet. That is on my list. It's on my list with A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, 1917, The Lighthouse. There's a lot of movies that are on my list that I haven't seen yet. But yeah. Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the final super chat and channel support of the stream. I appreciate the hell out of that, man. Hope you're doing well down south. Vince says, need a Deadliest Catch style mockumentary sci-fi show. Be about a space crew, kind of like the alien Nostromo freight crew. I love that idea. I wish more goofy shit like that would be made. Even in the Star Wars universe. I think I brought that up a couple of years ago on Twitter, maybe, where I would want a National Geographic style show that's like Planet Earth or Life or something like that, but in the Star Wars universe. You know, I think that would be fun, having like biologists in the Star Wars universe just kind of like cataloging creatures and vegetation. It would be neat. If not that, maybe a one-off National Geographic magazine style of that in the Star Wars universe, you know. But I love that kind of stuff, Vince. I wish there would be more of that kind of stuff. Yeah, mockumentaries are fun. And something like that, I think, it seems right off the jump, it seems like it would be a cult classic, you know? Like Galaxy Quest, right? Yeah, but anyway, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I would love that. And Tryon Films, thank you so much for the final super chat and channel support of the stream before I jet. Tryon says, nice lamp. Thanks, man. We were actually debating about getting rid of it. Yeah, it's a nice lamp, right? It's all right. We were debating about getting rid of it because it is all glass. And my daughter has a bad habit of like trying to squeeze between the two couches and go around that side table. And it starts rocking and rolling when she starts going around it. And one of these days, I can't believe it hasn't happened yet. One of these days, that thing is going to slide off and shatter into a million pieces. But yeah, it's a nice lamp. I appreciate that, man. So, all right, everybody, it's time for me to jet. Let's see. Tomorrow is Thursday. I will be doing a stream tomorrow, probably tomorrow night, and I'm gonna check on it. It all depends. I need to reach out to my mods, actually. We were going to play some old school Battlefront, but my parents aren't able to babysit tomorrow, so I'm going to have to shift that around. I might just end up doing something tomorrow night, maybe just some Lego. But yeah, anyway. All right, guys, to everybody who sent over some channel love through Super Chats, I appreciate the hell out of that. To everybody who hung out in the chat or just listened to my dumb voice for an hour, appreciate you hanging out. So yeah, video Friday, obviously, with Clone Wars. Maybe something tomorrow. We shall see. But, all right. Have a fantastic rest of your evening, your morning, your afternoon, wherever the hell you are on planet Earth. And I will catch you all on the flip side. See ya. Let me switch songs here. I'm going to switch songs. This is a fun song. All right? All right, cool. All right, guys. See ya.